All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market show. Hope everyone is having an amazing morning. Hope you had a great day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How you doing today?
Hey, good morning, Carlos. I'm doing well. Yourself?
Doing very good. Let me get you on my headphones here. All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to
Perfect.
the pre-market show. Hope. All right, guys. So, very interesting day yesterday. Let's get right into it. In the top place and highlights from our watch list, we had quite a bit of some good movers here. So we'll get into it and see what we can learn from yesterday. What kind of moves the market did. So let's start over with MU, guys. As we know, MU was very active in the pre-market. Tons of volume. I think it had 1.1 million shares just in the pre-market. Again, that's a lot for MU based on their earnings report. And at the open, I gotta say, it was a little disappointing for open range breakup. I thought it was gonna go higher after this opening range, but it just kind of came right back down to VWAP. Didn't really get the momentum and legs I was hoping for. So I was stopped out of this one. But then you can see here, it dropped below VWAP, kind of found some support on this moving average. Came back towards the high of the day, but still not great, right? Not great for all the positive news here. Eventually came back down, tested VWAP one more time, found some support here, and finally broke out of these highs here, which was high of the day. And you can see it went all the way up to 37.60. A lot of traders, this is the part where, again, sticking to your strategy can be tough, right? One of my strategies is the opening range 5 on the 5 minute. So if you wait for the 5 on a move like this, you're not good. You're not gonna get caught in a type of pullback, but what happens is you miss out on opportunities as you are supposed to getting in on like a 2 minute or 1 minute. I saw a lot of you guys take that trade, and that worked out perfect. So it's a good job there, anticipating the volume, the movement towards the top, and getting in. So again, if you're waiting for the 5 minute open range breakout like me, it never came. It had the nice pullback here, which you want to see. On this area is where I got in, roughly around this area, and then you can see it never continued. It never gave you any continuation, so that was unfortunate. AMD, same deal. Started off strong as MU did as well, but again on the opening range for the 5 minute, also just didn't get no continuation, right? It had a nice pullback, nice deep pullback right into the middle of this candle, which is nice to see. Comes back above VIA, but again, just no real continuation after reaching the high of the day. Did a nice double top though. This is what I liked about AMD. Did a nice double top here. On the way back down, I got in short here around VWAP. We called this out in the chat room. Brian and I were trading live. Andrew was having technical issues with his internet today. He should be able to trade check out his recap as well on CMEG and the trades he did on MU. And here just turned out to be a nice drop. It took a long time though. It took a very long time to get this going, to hit the low of the day. But eventually it did. But again, just a beautiful double top, clear resistance here on 30.50, and then you get this beautiful drop here. Next we had ABB. I had ABB on the watch list. Again, just had a great day yesterday. Pre-market action was okay, not great. I'm sorry, I had a great day the day before. So today we're looking for some kind of movement or continuation. But if you look at this chart, this was all it did. It's very choppy here. I believe some people took it for a long here after it left VWAP. But again, just overall here, just extreme chop. Every candle's kind of, this one goes up, comes right back down. The next one, just not building a good pattern here. Next we had GIS. This was probably one of the great stocks from yesterday as well. Good opening range breakout. Breakdown on the 5. Here's your opening range. You can see the selling pressure here, just pushing this stock lower and lower. And then you get this nice, beautiful pullback, which is like to see right to VWAP. On the way down, you get in for your entry, crack the low of the day, and head down towards these levels here. So again, just higher highs, higher lows. And then it does this beautiful V reversal to VWAP. This was hard to catch, right? You don't expect to catch this unless you have to be really focused in on it and seeing that, okay, it's gonna go. Volume is coming in for the buyers. Goes up to VWAP, very difficult to catch because you don't get any type of pullback as this minute just goes up. But then here, this was nice. It consolidated right around VWAP, and Brian called this out for a long here, and you can see how beautiful this was. Goes all the way up to the high of the day and then some. With no pullback, I mean higher highs, higher lows. I mean just continues to go up nicely. You get a small pullback here. This is a pullback, guys, right? This is a nice pullback. This is what you want to see. That's a pullback. This looks like it's going to be a pullback. Once you start seeing that it can make a newer high, then you know that the things could be changing, right? So this is okay. This is healthy. Some traders, I believe Eamon took this trade here on this pullback as well. So some traders got in here. If they missed this one, that's a great pullback, good risk to reward. All right, your risk is going to be down here below the wick of this candle, and your reward is going to be the high of the day. All right, and later in the day, this is 11 o'clock, so you want to give things a little more room to take less more shares because things could be choppier and it could take longer to make a move, right? But that's a clear, great risk to reward, at least 2 to 1, at least on there, and that's what you want to be taking, at least 2 to 1 risk to reward. And you can see this thing just traded beautifully all the way to the top. Here's Facebook. Facebook turned out to be choppy at the open. Finally found the bottom. Couldn't sell past the low of the day. Squeezed up above VWAP and then it went towards the high of the day. But again, just very choppy at the open, really having no direction. And then it comes right back to VWAP. Again, just gets choppy in this area. It does start losing it here. But again, no clear indication of it dropping or any kind of pattern forming. Facebook, great opening range breakout as well. Again, this, I'm sorry, not Facebook, Roku here, you can see the pre-market action was not great. I had this on as a possible, but look at the action here. Pops up very strong, goes all the way up here, heads right back down. This is a beautiful pullback on the 5 here. Here's a great entry for opening range breakout, and you can see it pops up nicely, hitting this moving average, so you're able to take out profits there. Then it looked like it was forming a flag. This is when I was focused in on it. It looked like it was forming a bullish flag here. But again, just really struggling past this level. When it did pop above it, look at the sell-off right after that. You have this moving average here as well, which I think caused it to not head higher. Then you had a beautiful drop past VWAP here. So that's all we had yesterday, guys. Again, just a lot of the pre-market action didn't look great, but we did have some really good moves on AMD double top early on, which usually is difficult to trade. MU finally was nice on a pop here on a strong news, and then also GIS was amazing, nice open range breakdown, and then a beautiful reversal, also consolidating here, and then just catching really this moving average, very nice all the way to the top. All right, guys, so that is what we had. Let's look into our SPY. Let's see what the markets are doing today. So let's erase this here. Let's get into some news. Norm, if you can walk us through what is happening today, any good earnings, anything that we should be on the lookout for.
Excuse me. Frankly, not a whole lot going on. SPY's up just a tiny bit. Pre-market, economic news, weekly jobless claims came out. Slightly higher than expected, but not much. Final revision of first quarter GDP came out just a few minutes ago. It hasn't done much, I don't believe. As far as earnings go, once again, the week is really light. There's a few on here I've got my eye on, which if they don't pop up on the scanners in the next few minutes, I will mention them to you. And, President landed in Japan for the G20. I think a lot of people are waiting to see what's going on, what's going to go on with him and Xi of China on the trade talks. So that's kind of where we're sitting right now.
All right, excellent. All right, guys, so let's get into it. Let's see what we have here on our gappers list. Let's see what we have in our NASDAQ active, NASDAQ gainers, and then as usual, as we're done with that, we'll go into both chats and see what's moving there. All right, so let's make some room here, and let's start with ZGNX. So CGNX up 26.9, 106,000 shares traded. Not great volume right now, but it is popping up nicely here. Looks like we have looked at this stock in the past. We got some levels in here. Daily's nasty though. Daily on this one doesn't look very clean, looks very choppy. And what do we mean by it looks nasty? Just look at the daily chart, right? Just kind of gets stuck within these ranges here. Doesn't really have a nice pattern to it to create levels, right? So within this drop here, there's really all the levels are really listed already here. Previous day close, highs and low, because it's just chopping around within this area. You do have some bottoms here you can mark down, but again, it just doesn't look like it trades well. Let's go back. Actually, here though, this is an interesting daily, right? Here, this looks good. This is what you want to see in a daily chart. This kind of ranges, right? This nice flow to it. It's going up, down, whatever the case may be. It doesn't have to be up. It could be down, but as long as you see this type of flow showing you that the stock does have some activity. After this drop, it's been pretty dry. Not sure what it caused this drop. Pretty dry, pretty flat. So now it looks like they've got some positive news now, and they're popping up quite a bit, 26%. Norm, anything causing this one to pop up today?
Yeah, this is a biotech, and they had some therapy that had an issue. The FDA had an issue with, I think, which is what caused that original drop. And now there was some kind of an issue with that, and now they've got that resolved. So it's essentially right back where it was,
Okay, all
from
right.
what I can tell.
All right, so that's good news for them. Right now, volume is not great, guys. It's starting to get going here. Hopefully, we see the ramp and we get can keep that volume steady above some good numbers. Right now, only 112,000 shares traded at the moment. Pre-market action is just starting to build, so we'll come back to this one. Hopefully, by closer to 9 o'clock, we have some good flow going on here and better pre-market action. But the daily does look interesting because again, it just kind of went on pause after this drop here, right? It had this drop, it just kind of went on pause, just consolidating, seeing what's gonna come out of this stock eventually. And today they're up a bit, so I'm sure some people that held through this are happy. They're back with close to within that range. There's a gap here we can close, a clear level. Some gaps here we can get into based on the last low that we had back in April. So this is good. Well, we'll come back to it. Next we have DOVA just popping in here. DOVA is what do we have? Up 29.8, 111,000 shares traded. So it's looking at the daily here. Wow, this is a big pop. I didn't know the stock was just a little lower price, $11. What is the float on this one? 9.4. So we're just gonna slide this down over to our low float section right over here for the low float team. So this one looks pretty active today. Although it's a low flow, it's got a nice daily chart though for a low flow, right? Usually low flows don't have this decent daily chart. It has a nice float to it. It's got some ranges, so it trades very well for this type of float. Let's look at the daily. I'm sorry, at the pre-market action. So right now you're not getting much activity. It looks like this thing is just starting to get going, just waking up. So we'll come back to it. It does have some volume, 127, popping up quite a bit. Any news on this low flow that's causing this movement today? I see it's a pharmaceutical company as well.
Yeah, it's a pharmaceutical company, and they got approval in the EU for a chronic liver disease drug that they have. So that seems to be what's popping it this morning.
Excellent. All right. So what do we have?
Keeping this one has a 35% short float on it. So it's probably getting squeezed here pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're up 32%. Was just looking really strong at the moment. Let's see how the next of the bars come up, and as the volume starts to sneak in, because now people start watching this, right? This was not here. Now it's going to start coming up on people's radars. Now you have it here. Next thing you know is that just going to get a lot of eyes on it. So next we have Wage. Give me 1 second, guys, and put this on mute. All right. So now we have Wage, W-H-A-G-E, W-A-G-E. So here, what do we have? Pre-market action doesn't look great. It's got volume, 220,000 shares traded so far. It's down 2.1, but the pre-market action looks horrible, right? You got a lot of the volume sitting really right on here. This one candle has 131,000 shares traded, so not really creating any type of good pre-market activity. And look at the daily. Wow, this daily is horrible. Yeah. This does not trade well.
This one's a buyout.
What was that?
This one's a buyout.
It's a buyout? Oh, it's even an ugly buyout. Yeah. You can even tell it's a buyout. So it's ugly, no angles, guys. I'm gonna get rid of this one. Let's take a look at BA. So BA here. Wow, we haven't seen BA up in our scanners in a while. Let's see what they're up to. They're down 2.9 today. 243,000 shares traded. This stock trades a little funky. I find it difficult to trade and to be able to read the price action. But a lot of our members have done well with this one and watching on a regular basis, especially after the news had came out a couple of months ago. We had this huge drop here, good recovery, and since then it's just been pretty much pretty active over the last couple of days. But today they're down 2.9. Any new news going on for BA?
Yeah, man, this thing is just unbelievable. So I guess they've been doing test flights to try to get the 737 MAX 8s recertified, and they found another problem with the plane. So, yep,
that is not fun.
So they are I think it was United this morning canceled flights on the 737 MAX 8 out till September. Now they're wondering if they can even get this plane back in the air by the end of the year. So
wow, yes, that is not fun. It's gonna be some pissed off airlines for sure. So here again, they're down 2.9, 246,000 shares traded. This is good to watch. Again, the pre-market action doesn't look too fancy right now, but with that type of news, we can get hopefully some movement out of this, some good opening range breakdowns or or any type of patterns that we can trade. So VA is interesting. We also, the daily also looks good because you have some levels down here, right? Look at, although it looks a little choppy, right? You got some days where it's just pretty much flat. It doesn't trade well. You got some a lot of gaps up and down. Almost looks like a little foreign stock in this area here, the way the dailies are. But overall, you have some nice levels. You can clearly see them here. Just some good levels we can trade off. So we'll mark those levels in a sec. Next we have CAG. So CAG down 7%, 124,000 shares traded. I can see we looked at this one in the past. We got some levels to it. Daily chart looks interesting. We have a nice support level here on 2640, so I like that. And the drop is nice. What's the float? This one is, yep, so it's massive float. So larger float, 388 million. What's going on with this one today? Down 6.7.
They had some pretty garbage earnings this morning, so they're getting hit on that.
Okay. All right, so interesting right now. Let's see the pre-market activity. Oh, this looks crap. So crappy pre-market action right now, guys. Just not much going on. So we'll keep it on here. Let's see what it comes out of this. Right now, the volume is okay, not great. 126,000 shares traded, but I do like this drop, and I do like some of the levels we have here. So again, we'll have to come back to, and hopefully we can get one of these type of days where we get some movement out of this stock. Hopefully with some volume as well, causing a lot of this activity to look a little better. So on the gappers, I don't think we have anything else. Yep, that's all for the gappers list. Let's hop over to our NASDAQ active, NASDAQ gainer. So here we'll start with SEAL, SEEL. We looked at this one in the past because we definitely have some levels. I can't remember ever trading this one. Flow is 17.1, so it is on the smaller cap. It's not a low flow. It's a little on the higher size, right at the crest of 20 million shares. But anything below that, you really want to be careful with. Again, it's a lower price right now. The activity for 1.7 million shares, the pre-market activity doesn't look too great, right? It doesn't look too great for trading that much shares. So not sure on this one, guys. I'm gonna throw it down here. We'll come back to it. Just not. It's on the borderline of looking great and not great. Daily chart, you can see you got some clean levels on here. So we'll see. We'll come back to it. We got some clean levels, but then here, look how nasty it gets in this area. It just gets really nasty. Not really trading very well. Here starts trading a little better. Got a nice little range to it, but again, just overall doesn't look great and not much volume, right? See the volume down here? It just doesn't trade too clean throughout the day. So we'll come back to it. ATOS is usually not tradable. Today's up 1 point. I'm sorry. Today's hold on, throw it in here. Yep, today's up 23%, 1.7 million shares traded. We looked at this one in the past. Again, it sells up. My experience with this one, it usually sells up and then it sells right back down. So you had one day that it popped here. This one gapped up. It sells down. So you have a lot of gapping up and sell down, as you can see here. So you want to be careful with this one. It could be the same situation today. And the flow for this flow is 907. So we'll come back to another low flow stock this morning. So we'll come back to see how that's looking a little later. FCEL penny stock, so we'll bypass that one. AMD is has some volume, not really a good pre-market action. We'll throw it on here, see what we get out of AMD. Next we have MGI. MGI 713,000 shares traded. Oh, this one. Yeah, this doesn't trade well. I think this is a very low flow stock, if I'm not mistaken. No, this is MoneyGram. Yeah, this is MoneyGram. So this doesn't trade well. Again, a few times I watched it, just didn't move too well. And this is what happens when you have this larger flow stocks and they're lower price. They tend not to move as good as some of the other stocks we trade at a little higher price and are in that mid to large range of flow. So not a great pre-market action right now. It does have some volume. Any news on this one today? Norm, I know we had some good news when this pop happened, right? There was an investor, right? A big investor on this thing here, if I remember correctly.
Ripple was investing some money in it at 50 million, I think. Wasn't a huge investment. I'm not quite seeing anything that's all that exciting on MGI myself, so I'm not sure what's causing that this morning.
Yeah, so it could just be continuation of the hype from this news here. There's nothing, since there's not a lot going on. Got a little sell-off here, a little bounce with people taking profit. I mean, if you were sitting here at at $1.50 and you're at 4, you know, you're definitely gonna take some off the table. So we'll see. Again, pre-market action not giving us anything great, and I don't know, I'll throw it on here, but most likely this is going to be one that I am going to remove from the list. Next we have all right, so we know Nasdaq ETF, penny stock, usually not tradable. This LGCY always on this list. DOVA we have, volatility index should be pretty much flat. Yep, it is. Nasdaq ETF, and then we got Apple down here. I'm just gonna look at Apple since it's right here already. So 208,000 shares traded on Apple. Daily looks good though. Daily looks really interesting. Apple's had a little bounce yesterday. Again, just having tons of resistance at this 201. This level here, just extreme resistance, guys. So it doesn't have a lot of good pre-market action going on right now, but if it can break out of that, it could be a good possible to watch later on. So I'm gonna throw it down here. For now, we'll take a look at it a little later. Next, we have DOBA. We have PEC, P-E-C-K. I see some of you guys also throwing that out in the chat room. What's going on with P-E-C-K? Not much activity here in the pre-market action, so pretty dead. Volume-wise, it is up 32.8. But look at this daily chart, though. I mean, how do you find good, clean levels? And everything's red. You have this gap up red, gap up red. Everything is you know, everything's just red. So I don't know, just doesn't trade very well. And prior to this, just look how nasty this is. So I don't know what's the news on this one. I know there's some talks about it, but again, this really does not look tradable for me at least. So we'll skip that. ZGNX we have, so selling down a bit here. So it's good. We're getting some good volume in here. Hopefully this continues to create a nice little range that we can get something out of. ATOs we looked at, again, this is good at gapping up and then setting right back down, which is exactly what it's doing now. AAOI, where is it? Here it is. Not really tradable, no volume. SEAL we have, not a fan of this one too. It's kind of in the same realm as ATOs. So again, just looks good now. With numbers look good, right? This 14.8 gapping up looks good. This 1.8 looks good. Same thing with ATOs. 21 looks good. This 1.8 looks good. But when you look at the details, it just doesn't seem very attractive or tradable, right? So let's not get fooled by just how great these numbers look. Let's look under the hood and see if there's anything that we can actually trade on here. All right. So next we have VRCA. VRCA not doing anything. MLHR. This looks like crap. We'll skip that. OVID, same. DMPI is the last one on this list. No volume neither. So again, not really tradable. All right, guys. Norm, what do you have? How are your top 4 looking this morning?
Actually, all of them look interesting. Facebook's got some good pre-market action. Nvidia has some good pre-market action for a continued breakout. You already talked about Apple. Roku's light pre-market volume, but I really like the daily on it. So
yeah, the Roku is great, and Roku does that. Their pre-market action usually is not great, and you know it tends to do this sell off at the open, no volume, nothing exciting. I don't know, it comes back to V up and then it takes off. Guys, not saying that's what's going to happen today, and to look out for that. But Norm, how many times have we seen that happen with Roku?
Yep, it's not uncommon.
You know,
and now we've got this crazy doji from yesterday that it tried to go up and then sold right back off to essentially the previous day close. So
right,
or where it opened, excuse me. So it should be interesting this morning. And then I've got a couple others here. KBH and RAD both had earnings. KBH, I think, it's popped up on the gappers since you looked at it.
Yep, here it is.
Not great, but I'm curious. The home builders have been a little bit in play the last couple of days. And then Rite Aid, RAD, it's not hitting because of ATR, but they had earnings and they're down 4%.
What was the last one?
And then RAD.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, excellent.
So I'll take this off my list. I just wanted to point it out because it is down 4%, not hitting the scanners because of the ATR. I think we've traded in the past. Some people have. So keep an eye on that. And then one last one is Overstock, OSTK. That's Bitcoin / crypto / blockchain stuff.
Yeah, they're down 8.1 today. So a few to keep an eye on as the morning develops, as the open. Yep.
And I looked earlier at WBA, which somebody just pointed out, and it has hit our scanners, but the volume was atrocious when I saw it earlier.
WBA. Yeah, it's a nice breakout here, but not great volume. See the pre-market activity also not looking too great. So we'll come back to it after the announcements and see if there's anything good going on there. What do you guys? So you guys have QD. Let's look at what some of you guys have in here. QD. So QD right now is, it's got some volume. It's kind of pretty flat. It popped up a bit, came right back down. So pretty flat at the moment, hanging around this previous day close. Had a nice red day yesterday. Pre-market action is okay though. It's got a lot of volume, but nothing great right now. So we'll see. See if we can get a bounce out of here. We'll come back to it. I'll put it on here. We'll come back to it and take a look at it. What else, guys? What else you guys like? So we have WBA. We'll look at that. We have KBH. We'll look at that in more detail. Facebook we have here as well. OSTK we also have. So we'll take a look at that. NVIDIA. Yes, I have that one too. ARDS. I think, did we look at that one? ARDS. ARDS really has no volume right now as far as soup company. Not much going on, and real horrible daily chart, guys. Look at this daily. Again, just very nasty on the way it looks here. You have a pop here, and then just not great. Just curious, what is the flow that creates this type of pre-market action, daily chart? And yeah, 6 million shares flow. So even for a low flow, it doesn't look great. All right, guys, so let's get into announcements. We got quite a bit to go to today. It's probably one of the biggest lists we had in a while, so a lot of possibles on here, but a lot of this stuff doesn't look great. But I do want to look at everything you guys are pointing out, so we'll make sure to go through all of these, give it of the week, and try to keep the best ones possible. Norm, what do we have for announcements?
Yeah, we're running a little bit behind, and your list is long, so I'm going to go very quickly here. Next Lifetime webinar is tonight at 8 p.m. Pacific, or 8 p.m. Eastern, excuse me. There is a forum. You can put your questions in there, and they will be answered by the team. Next meetup is a week from this Saturday in Vancouver, July 6th. Check the forum for info. You don't have to be a member. Thank you guys, and for putting non-directly trading related questions into the off-topic tab. Trying to remember myself, so please continue to do that, just so we can keep the chat clean with trading ideas, setups, and so on. July 26th, so about a month away, we are going to have Dr. Brett Steenbarger in the chat room around lunchtime to discuss trading psychology. For those of you that don't know him, he is a world-renowned author and trading psychologist. We talk about his books in many of our classes and such, so it's really an honor to have that time with him in the room. What else? If you're on YouTube watching us in the pre-market show and you have not tried out the chat room before and you'd like to come in when the market is actually open, watch us trade live. It's Andrew and Brian and myself, Carlos, William with trade reviews, Peter in the late afternoon. Come give it a shot. 2 weeks, $24. Code is pre-market 24, no spaces, pre-market 24, and Abby will just put up a link. So unless you can think of anything else, that's all I got, Carlos.
Nope, that is everything we have. All right, guys, so let's start at the top here. Let's start with ZGNX. So ZGNX right now, 175,000 shares traded. I do like what the pre-market action is doing now. It's kind of doing a nice little wave here, so hopefully it can get going. Volume is still not great, but 175 is okay. That's worth watching. Again, it's been really dull the last couple of weeks, couple of month or two, just kind of just chopping around. So they got some good news now. We got some good levels that we can play off. So let's mark this down. So I'm probably going to watch this one just because the daily looks interesting. So here we have high of the pre-market 52.45, guys, and then here you have another pop, which is kind of where the gap is at, right? 50.42. Price action kind of sitting at a level right now. I'm going to mark it down, 47.50, 47.70. You see this area here. You have several days just banging their head in there until they're able to finally break out of that. So that's a good one to have. Towards the bottom, you have another level right on here, 45.32. and then you have a moving average here, which I'm going to mark 43.20. And then the low of the pre-market is right where the high of 2 days ago was, so I'm not going to mark that down. So I like this one because of the pop here. There could be some profit taken. Anyone that's sitting down here that was holding can see this as an opportunity to get out of this stock, right? So be careful on that. No bias, but be aware of that. Just want to check the ATR on this. ZGNX ATR is $1.39, so not too bad. But today, obviously, trading a little more than that. So be cautious on your size. If you see some of these candles, they're moving between 50-60 cents easily. So be careful on your size and manage your risk accordingly. So I like this one. BA, I'm gonna, again, when we have so much stocks like this one I might remove just because I don't like the way it trades. Towards the bottom, lower the pre-market 149 on the dot. On the bottom of that, here's a daily that we were looking at earlier. So here, clear level right here at 337.77, all the way down here, one at 331.22. Towards the top, you got a nice level within these ranges here, 357.62. You can clearly see how support here, oops, that's too big. Here we go. Support here, resistance here as well, resistance and then support. So again, that 357 is interesting. Towards the top, you got plenty, guys, highs and lows from this kind of flag that it was building here, but it actually broke down. So you guys, highs and lows and previous day close all in that area. Don't need to add anymore. Next, we have CAGC. Pre-market action, guys, not looking great, so I'm not going to spend no time on this one. It is the daily is nice though, right? This nice drop. I do like the daily on this one though. We got some very clean levels here. So we have 26.40 that we looked at, I guess, from previous pre-market shows. You have a level right in here too. Look at this level around 27.19, right? Several days just using that as support before the nice takeoff here. So mark that down. Then towards the top, you got highs and lows from 2 days ago and previous day close. So that's plenty towards the top. Again, I do like the daily, guys, on this one. Pre-market action is not looking great. So we'll keep it on here. We'll come back. We'll do 2 rounds of editing what we're going to get rid of here. ATOS, guys, I don't like. Again, it's a lower flow stock. It has a lot of volume, gapping up 23% almost, but just doesn't trade well. I'm just going to get rid of it. AMD's usual suspect here. Today, they are gapping up slightly, 1.4. They traded okay yesterday, not great. Had a nice double top right at the open for a nice short. We got the high of the pre-market very close to the high of yesterday, so I'm not going to mark that. And then we have some levels already in here, 31.34. We have 34.25. This one should be a level here. I'm surprised we didn't mark it last time. This 32.58, a very clean level right on. You can see several days, 1, 2, 3, 4, trading, finding support or resistance around that level. Towards the bottom, guys, you got plenty of support down here. You got moving averages, you got previous day close, you got the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. So again, just AMD, plenty of support there. So we'll keep that one on for now. MGI, it's got the volume, but the pre-market action is not looking great. Again, the daily looks interesting. Had this nice pop, came back down here, found some support around these moving averages. Now it might be hitting some resistance on this moving average coming right in here. So we got plenty of levels for this one from previous trading. 293, we have 315, which actually a more reasonable level now will be high of the pre-market at 324. This 223 could actually be right on here, which is again, as you get new information on newer days, you can find better levels, more recent levels. So $3 could be one. This 336 can now be actually up here, the high of this date, right? Very clean. And this 330 and this 366 is actually pretty good. All right, so we got plenty of levels on here, guys. I'm probably not going to watch this one, but we got our level set in case it appears in our scanner. So let's get rid of it. And the reason I'm getting rid of it is just that this pre-market action doesn't look great. QD, guys, QD is starting to continue to drop here. It is on short selling restriction. Daily chart looks interesting. It's got some good volume, but I don't have shares for short, so this is the reason why I'm not going to watch this one. I want to be able to trade both ways. Right now it's sitting at a very nice level. Look at this 738. You could draw a line right across here and you could clearly see the levels of support and resistance right around that 738, which is the low of yesterday. This big drop comes all the way down, stops right there, and now you're just hanging out in that area. If we can lose that, next possible level could be 710. You got a very clean level here. Look at 710, support, resistance, support and resistance, support, support here as well. So again, just a very clean level. on that 710. You can mark that down. If you have shares for sure with your broker on this one, this could be a good one to watch. I'm also going to put down 676 as well as a possible. Towards the top, high of the pre-market, right on this moving average, so that's nice, 763. Above that, you have this level here, 795. Also be on the lookout for this 780. You got a moving average in here as well. All right, so that's QD, guys. I'm removing it because I only can play it one way. I want to be able to play it stock both ways, especially on a day where we have so many possibles here. So Apple at the moment has a good daily chart. I think we have some levels set up for it. So high of yesterday is a nice resistance that has been having a very hard time getting above. You can see here several days getting close to that, but not being able to crack that. So we have the previous day close towards the bottom, high of 2 days ago, low of 2 days ago, low of yesterday, all in this area here. Let's see what's the next level. If it can crack this 201 is what it's struggling with. Again, this could be something for those that trade later into the day. You could look out for this and hopefully catch a possible breakout in a run. So next level seems to be this 204. You got a day in here testing that. You got these 2 days testing that as well. Another day also as support, as resistance, and then support here as well. So that 204 is interesting, guys. Let's see what it does later on today. I'm not going to watch it for the open, but I will have an eye on it if it hits our scanners. And later in the mid-morning, as I'm going through my stocks after watching the open, there might be an opportunity there. Same thing with NVIDIA. We already have levels for NVIDIA. We have a moving average towards the bottom. I'm just going to mark this one down because the low of the pre-market is right where that moving average is. Could be finding some support there. That's 160.61. Towards the top, we have 163.65. Where is that? Okay, so here it is. Several days really testing that area here. So that's good. 163.65. That's a good target point. If we can get past that, what is the next clean level? You have this one all the way up here. This is some ways out, right? 171.19. Definitely some way out of there. But again, if you can crack it and start squeezing some shorts, you can definitely do it. Facebook has a good daily. We already have some levels from yesterday's pre-market show: 193, 194.58, 197.20, 221. And then towards the bottom, you have this huge support area here, just building up. Previous day close, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. Moving average trying to catch up as well. So it will be interesting to see what happens there. I'm personally not going to watch it. So I'm not going to watch Facebook. I'm not going to watch NVIDIA, but I have them ready for any possible trading we can get out of them. Roku is interesting. I know Roku right now, the pre-market action doesn't look great, but I like Roku. I like the way the daily looks. I'm going to watch this one. It traded very well yesterday, so I'm just going to keep an eye on this one. If look at this support here. If it can lose this support, it can head down to this level at 89.05. I do not have shares for short on this one, unfortunately, but again, Roku seems to be one of those stocks. Every time it sells off, it gives you a nice pop. VWAP reversal, so I'll be on the lookout for that. So 89.05, and then towards the bottom, if we can lose that 89.05, what else we have? This moving average actually is perfect. I don't think Roku will drop that much, especially after dropping here this much. So again, that's a stretch, but that's a clean level there coming up at 84, 53, 85-ish area. All right, let's look at some of the other ones we have here. So KBH right now looks interesting. Doesn't have a lot of volume just yet, but let's mark our levels in case this comes up in our scanners, guys. We do have a high of the pre-market sitting at 25.40, low of the pre-market sitting at 24.86. So we'll mark that to see if it can trade out of that range. Above that at 26, you have a nice moving average at 25.92 on the daily. I'm going to mark that down. You can see also how that price range got some days of support and resistance, which is good. Towards the bottom, we have a very clean level right in here at 24.56 or so. So I'm going to mark that down also. I'm going to remove this one, guys. Just again, right now, not much volume. So it needs to get the volume first. And I'll look for this in our scanners. Turbo breakup, turbo breakdown. See if we can get something out of this. RAD, I think that someone mentioned this one earlier today as well. This one has again, it's an interesting daily here. It looks like it wants to break out. It's actually starting to get some movement now. That's a nice bounce here. It comes down all the way down to 630. Now it's up at 711. Yeah, this could be interesting. Pre-market action is looking nice here. So let's see. Let's see what this one does. Let's get a level towards the top. So we're sitting right at some heavy resistance. Previous day close. Highs and lows from yesterday. Let's look at what we can find here. We have a level of support here. resistance at 769, also being supported by this moving average right in this area. Above that, clean level of resistance right here at 804. Then towards the bottom, guys, you have plenty. We don't really need to add anymore. You got 650. You got the low of over here of 2 days ago around 615 or so. So plenty towards the bottom. You know what? This is a big gap. That's 769 from 7 where it's at now. It's a big gap. Let's see if we can find something clean here in the daily. Oh, I like this level here, 737. Right in there. You see that nice bounce, and look at all these days also supporting that that level there. So I like that. All right, guys. Let's see what else we have. OSTK. OSTK when it's in play trades very well. Had a big day yesterday. Seems to have a nice daily chart going here. Look how it found support around this area here, around $9. Pop up, pull back, pop up, and now we can be in a situation of a pullback or also pop up. So we're down 5.2. With a very nice daily chart. So let's start with the bottom. Low of the pre-market sitting at 1235, so we'll mark that down. We do have some moving averages and some levels already in here. You can see low from high from 2 days ago, lows from yesterday and the day before. So that's nice. Very clean support area here. I'm just gonna mark it down because it's just it doesn't get cleaner than that. Look at this 937. How many times that has been tested. Clearly the stock does not want to sell off from that. Finds Sabato moving averages catch up to this, and then finally starts punching higher here. There is a level right in here, right where the price action is now, slightly above it. This 1291. I'll tell you what I like about this level. You can see several days on this drop here, several days coming down. Whoops, that's too much. That's better. So several days coming down here, supporting that. Finally breaks down from this 1294, and then you have this huge drop, right? So again, just nice level there, and then all the way to the top we have the previous day close, and we have the high from yesterday as well. So again, not much volume, but I do really like the daily chart on OSTK, so that's going to be one of my possibles that I'm going to watch today. WBA, guys, I'm just going to remove, just not much volume. Pre-market action looks like it's starting wanting to get going, right? It starts like it wants to get going here, right? It's got a nice flow to it from here to here. It's just nothing great. But again, just not sure on this one. I'm gonna remove it from my list. And these I'm just not gonna watch, guys. There's nothing great going on with this one. CEO I'm gonna get rid of, as we spoke earlier. Atos as well. Just not a fan of this way this stock trades. Dova, on the other hand, this one could be interesting. It's got some news behind it. So for the low flow team, this is one you definitely want to have on your list if that's your niche. High of the pre-market 1487, low of the pre-market sitting at 1211, right on this moving average. And for low flow, I gotta say, this has a beautiful daily chart, right? Low flows usually do not have this daily chart. It's usually flat, one pop, then several days right back down. You know, flat, one pop, several days right back down. Yes, good point. This T here means that it has been halted. Right, it was halted here at 835, and now the T means that it has resumed, right? So again, just be careful, guys. It is a low flow, but if that's your niche, you know, anything is tradable as long as you can manage your risk properly and have good discipline, right? That is the key. So if you trade low flows, nothing against anyone that trades low flows, you can make some good money, you can make some good trading, but you just need to be disciplined, have the experience. It's better off when you're starting out to try to avoid these, because it does require a higher level of experience, execution. So again, just be aware of that. And again, the risk management has to be on point 100%, right? Your risk management cannot be flip-floppy. It's got to be on point. You don't skip stops on this. You know, you don't think twice about pulling out if things is going in your direction, because it can hurt really bad. All right, guys, so that is what we have. We have 1 minute left, so right on time. Andrew's gonna be coming on in a couple of minutes. Brian is also joining us now. Good morning, Brian. He's gonna go over his watch list in a second. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Probably one too many. Maybe I'll get this one. You know what? I'll make a final decision in a few minutes. Just want to see what RAD does. Is trying to break out of this previous day close, going red to green. So this is interesting. OSTK, I do like the daily chart. Again, just not great pre-market action, but I really like the daily chart on this one. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how things develops. Guys, thank you on YouTube for joining us. Have a great trading day. Trade safe, and we will see you guys tomorrow.
Thank you, guys. Trade safe. See you tomorrow morning.